are shows with psychics.
And there are shows with doctors.
But there's no show like The Psychic and the Doc.
Your practical paranormal power unleashed.
This show synthesizes the talents of world-class medium Mark Anthony, the psychic lawyer, psychic explorer,
and street smart spiritualist, behavioral psychologist, Dr. Pat Baccili. All subjects are on the table and no topic is taboo. Inspiration, insight,
action, and fun as Mark Anthony connects callers with loved ones in spirit.
In tandem with Dr. Pat's fresh, no-nonsense, street-smart, intuitive insights. And she is hilarious.
Extraordinary problems
require extraordinary solutions, which may come from this side
or the other side. This is The Psychic
and the Doc, and it starts now. Psychic and the Doc, I'm Mark Anthony, JD, Psychic Explorer, and I'm here with my incredible, amazing, and world-renowned behavioral psychologist co-host, Dr. Pat Baccili. We have a great show lined up for you tonight. This is technically our Valentine's show, and the theme of this show is the spirit of unconditional love. But before we get to that, I think everybody in the world has been touched by the absolute devastation of that horrific earthquake that struck Turkey and Syria. From what I understand, it was 7.8 on the Richter scale, and that's like almost as bad as it gets. Dr. Pat, I know that you have a contact in Turkey, right?
Yes, I do. Wow. Contact friends, family members from, it just, so you said something and I want to get back to it. I just had a conversation with someone about this, actually township committee people in a very ridiculous situation. And so there's this idea about the 100-year storm. Now, things have happened to this earth that cannot be explained. And I don't care how you cut it or what side you fall on, an earthquake of 7.8 magnitude is devastating. Our hearts, our prayers, anything, relief, there's no way to even think about it. I mean, it's hard. You know, I was in California for the San Jose, the one they had down there in California.
Yeah.
And I had never seen anything like it. But it doesn't even come close to what we've seen here.
No.
And all we can do is send lots of prayers. They're finding more and more people, but that's what unconditional love is. It's unconditional love is one of the purest forms of energy we have. And I have to say this, Mark. Someone asked me, can you see it? And I said, you can see it, you can feel it, and you can be it. And it may take a lifetime or a journey, but you can see unconditional love. You can see it in what people do and say. You can see it how they respond to things. And I can't even imagine being in Turkey. I can't imagine that. Somebody asked me the other day, what made you decide to do this show? And I thought it was an interesting answer, an interesting question for me. And I said, well, sometimes I don't think very hard on the decisions I make. They just feel right. And they asked me another interesting question. They said, aren't you concerned? And I looked at them and I said, like what? Like like a lightning bolt or what? What are you talking about? I said, oh, wait a minute. I said, look, I can't think of any famous person that I know that shows up like in a book or like in a discovery that hasn't discovered what they discovered from some intuitive innate ability. And we happen to call it psychic in this world, but it has been called by many names. It has been called by so many things. And I said, look, we're here to help people. And when you put Mark together with his talent and me together with a few grains of common sense, that is the best way we know how to help people.
Yes.
That is the best way. And I think we have to stop fearing. Unconditional love will annihilate fear in a minute. And that's why we wanted to do this, because just find 5 minutes of it in your life. 5 minutes.
Unconditional love. There's so many different facets to it. That's the love that is supposed to happen in families. You know, you're just supposed to love each other without conditions and strings attached. And with the crisis in Turkey and Syria, what's fascinating is, of course, the Europeans and the United States are sending aid, but then so's India, so's Iran, countries from all over the world, China, countries normally at odds with each other, and in a strange way, strange warped way, this earthquake is a reminder that unconditional love is the spirit of humanity. That instead of putting our energy into finding ways to outflank each other, outmaneuver, outspend, destroy each other, what happens is when you see thousands of buildings destroyed, children being crushed and yet rescued from the rubble, and no matter who you are, when you see a small child pulled from that rubble who's alive, I mean, everybody just starts to cheer. And perhaps in some larger way, this is yet another message to humanity that it's all about unconditional love.
It is. It is. And you know, the hardest part about that is really making ourselves our own spectacle of unconditional love. And what I mean by that, Mark, is, and we're going to go to the phones very early tonight for all of you. What I mean by that, you have to make a spectacle of your own essence of unconditional love. We can't be marginal with it. And it is one of the most difficult things to do, because what wants to show up is fear and doubt and uncertainty, people pleasing. See, that's not it. You have to be able to look at yourself every day in the mirror, or not, you know, if you just feel yourself every day. And you have to be able to know that everything you are, all that you ever were, all that you want to be, is whole, perfect, and complete. And that is the end. It doesn't matter what a client says. It doesn't matter what somebody else says, not a family member, not a brother and a sister. It's you. For me, it's me and the God of my understanding there, Mark.
Couldn't agree more.
Let's take a short break. This is what happens when you talk about unconditional love, right?
That's true. We're feeling the love energy, and it is
all
affecting the phone lines.
All right. I need me some Adele. I mean,
Adele.
I'm so glad Adele won a Grammy the other night. I just long for her to get up there and just act out like Adele. But
right.
let's
but we are honoring Burt Bacharach, who passed today.
Yeah, we are.
And so that's why we're playing ancient love songs from a land called the 70s.
Yeah.
But seriously, I mean, Burt Bacharach, and I didn't know that much about him. I was reading about him today, and I was surprised, Dr. Pat, of how many of his songs I was familiar with. And it said in the article, except for like Lennon, McCartney, Elton John, and the Gershwin brothers, he's written like the most hits.
Yeah,
in the last.
There's no kidding.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to put Carole King up there because nobody even knows what Carole King does. But let's go say hello to Beth.
Hey, Beth, how you doing?
Hi.
Hey, great to have you on the show. Hey, how can we help you tonight?
Well, I saw that your show had started and I got the push to call you. I heard, okay, do it. So I called and I wanted to know if there are any messages for me.
Well, let's see if we have any spirits coming through for you, Beth. Hold on. I'm getting a male energy coming through, and he's connected to you through your male side of the family. So this could be somebody connected to your dad, or his side of the family, but just maybe a close male connection. And what I'm getting with this gentleman is he was younger when he passed. And by younger, getting a visual on him, he could have been in his 20s, early 30s. He could have been a little bit younger than that, but he's kind of a thinner, lanky build. Whatever that is needs to stop. Okay. And I lost it. Okay, hold on. Let me get him back. Beth, you still there? Beth?
Okay.
All right, let's go to the next
Colton,
call.
let's go to the next call. Let's go to the next break. Let's bring somebody on there, Colton. Who do we have next? You don't want
Michelle from Wisconsin.
Okay. Hi, Michelle.
Michelle, you're on. Michelle.
Okay. Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
Michelle, turn off your radio.
Okay, hold on a second. I got to turn you guys off.
Yeah, you got to
Okay.
turn that off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. What can we do for you today?
Well, I was wanting to see if anything was coming through.
In other words, a spirit coming through. All right, Michelle, let's see. Getting a female energy coming through. She's connected to you. Feels like she could be on the level above you, which would be like the parent, aunt, uncle level. And what I'm getting, but she could be on the grandparent, but I'm feeling kind of the parent level. Now, Michelle, by the parent level, that doesn't always mean somebody who is related to you. This could be maybe a stepmother, mother-in-law, teacher, boss, professor, or some friend that was older than you. And what I'm getting with this woman is a burning sensation throughout her abdominal region, going down into her reproductive areas. And the burning sensation's really, really intense. And I'm also getting a sense of weakness and a draining feeling throughout my body. What this would indicate, Michelle, is that this woman had a long, slow passing. Now, long and slow passing doesn't mean she had to be laying in bed for 6 months. Could have been a couple of weeks, but this was not a quick passing. Feels like she was very, very ill. And she was definitely being treated with a lot of medications based on the metallic taste I'm getting in my mouth. And she talks about you being of great comfort to her in her last, days, hours here on Earth. Does any of this make sense to you?
No, that must not be for me. That's not what that's not connecting at all.
I'm not going to let you off the hook that easy. Okay. Do you have any females connected to you that may have died from cancer?
Nobody close. Nope.
Okay. And that one's not for you.
So can you say a little bit more, though? Could you say a little bit more about what you were hearing there, Mark?
Well, let me see. Yeah, what I'm getting with this woman, Michelle, is somebody close to you really involved in sports, particularly basketball? This apparently is not.
My fiance.
Okay, hold on. Your fiance. Could there be somebody connected to your fiance, a female that may have passed a long, slow passing that may fit this description?
Mm-hmm.
No, his mom passed, but it was very sudden.
And what did she pass from?
She passed from pneumonia.
Okay, now, pneumonia is not a quick, sudden passing. You don't get pneumonia and die the same day. It can take some time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when I do a private reading, a one-on-one, I normally spend about 10-15 minutes with people doing an orientation. And I caution people about the no syndrome. See, because here's the thing, I'm getting a woman on the mother level who died from a draining sensation, which is an illness that takes people down a click at a time. was getting a burning sensation, and I don't know if she was having problems as well in her abdominal region and her stomach. I'm getting a metallic taste, which is medications. All right. Now, this would fit with your fiance's mother, and I'm not scolding, I'm instructing. You immediately went to no, which is a natural inclination for a lot of people. That's why I said it doesn't have to be a relative. So we got your fiance's mother here.
Yeah.
And she's talking about the month of, it's like late June, early July, and she's focusing on what I call the Cancer time frame. Cancer would be June 20th through July 20th. Now, Michelle, listen very carefully. What she's bringing up is a significant birth, death, anniversary, or event between June 20th and July 20th. It could be connected to you or someone close to you in this world. It could be connected to you or someone close to you in the spirit world. It could be connected to your fiance or his mother in some way. And don't worry about how it applies to the spirit. What does that time frame mean to you?
Well, Peter, my fiance's birthday is July 1st and mine is July 9th.
There you go.
There you go. That's
There
a
you
bada
go.
bing,
Okay.
bada boom. You're
Okay.
both
So-
cancers. Yeah, that means we got your mother-in-law. That's a verifiable fact following a message.
Yeah.
Let's get a message for her. Hold on. From her for you. She said that she likes you, but she wants you to stop doubting yourself. She said that on the exterior, you're very self-confident. Like people that meet you would think, wow, Michelle's really got it going on. But beyond that, behind that, there's this like trepidation, nervousness, fear. And she said, don't look at it as fear. Look at it as sometimes you get overwhelmed, but you're always able to rise to the occasion, and you always do. So she's giving you a big pat on the back.
Yeah. Wow.
Dr. Pat, what's your take?
I have a question for you. There was something on your mind when you called in. Are you willing to share a little bit of it?
For myself, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I was calling
Yes.
to try and connect with my 18-year-old son.
Yes, but there's something on your mind about that. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
What you don't have to share it on air, but you was thinking about something, weren't you?
Well, yeah, I recently, just over a year ago, lost my 18-year-old son.
Yes.
And
So sorry.
a lot of, there's actually, we've been in the news a lot about it recently.
Mhm.
It's a really long story, but
Yeah.
he died from a fentanyl poisoning.
Yep.
And the young man who we think sold the pill to him, his mom is running for Supreme Court.
Yep.
So, and this just came out in the news recently. So there's been a lot about it. So I was hoping my son might have a message for me about everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I wanted to back up a bit. On the caller before you, I was getting kind of a thinner, lanky type of young man.
Yeah.
Would that match your son's build?
Yeah.
Okay. Did he have, I don't want to say crazy hair, wild hair, but did he have kind of like really cool hair?
Like mine.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is very interesting because on the first caller and the caller disconnected, I was getting that spirit. So that was your son coming through. And for whatever reason, that caller got cut off because you're the one that is that he's here for. And when I do readings for people in the private, on a one-on-one, you're going to get more than one person coming through. And then your fiance's, I'll just call her your your mother-in-law in spirit came through to give you the affirmation about not being so overwhelmed by everything, which based on what you said with everything going on does make sense.
Yeah. Now,
with your son, he's talking about, this is weird. Kaleidoscopes. I'm sure we've all seen kaleidoscopes, and you look through them and see all those patterns and stuff. Does a kaleidoscope make sense to you in any way? Don't worry about how it applies to your son. I mean, it may, but does a kaleidoscope make sense to you in any way?
Not really. No.
No, hold on. You're
Well,
doing the no
now
thing again.
kaleidoscope.
When I say kaleidoscope, what
Um,
immediately comes to mind for you?
well, it just makes me like glass. The thing that I'm thinking about is that I had he loved watching sunsets, and I had somebody make me a stained glass of a
Yeah,
sunset in his
there we
honor.
go. That's
All right,
it.
there we go. That's
Yeah,
it. Okay.
yeah.
All right. So what it is, I gotta lock on to his frequency, and he keeps pulling me into the Scorpio time frame. Scorpio runs roughly from October 20 to November 20. There could be births, deaths, anniversaries, or events, which could be connected to him or you or someone close to either of you in this world or the other side within Scorpio, October 20 to November 20.
Yeah, he passed on November 4th.
And there we go. That's
Yeah,
the
that's
Scorpio
him.
time
Yeah.
frame. So that's him. So let's
Mhm.
get his message for you. He said, "Do it, mom. Plug it. Hit the bullseye." Apparently, everything that you're doing about going public with all this,
Mm.
he said, and that ties into your fiance's mother is like, yes, it's overwhelming, but have confidence. He said, you have to do it. He said, this must be brought to light. And he also wants you to know that his passing was not intentional. This was strictly accidental. He said he was getting into an area he didn't know that much about, meaning the fentanyl, and he thought it was just going to be a bit of fun, but he wants you to know that he never would have intentionally done anything to have hurt you
Yeah.
and everyone around you. So
Yeah.
he wants you to know that. Dr. Pat?
I want to ask you a question. When is the election going to happen? What is the time frame for that election, Supreme Court?
There's a primary on February 21st.
Okay, when is the election?
The general election.
Election is the general election, I think, is April 20th.
Okay, so the only reason I'm asking is that is on your mind. That's the thing that's on your mind most. And there is something about that it's never easy when we lose somebody and we have to see it in a headline. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When it's talked about in the public. But there's an action you're supposed to take. Do you know what that is?
Oh, well, I've been doing a ton of advocacy around awareness about fentanyl poisoning. So that's the action that I've been taking the most of.
But there's something around this election. You don't have to talk about it on air. I'm going to let you go. But there's an action about this election, and I'm not sure exactly what it is, but you're a little bit on the fence about taking the action. I'm not 100% sure why. Right? But it's like a burr under your saddle. A burr? Is that right?
Yeah,
you know what
burr.
I'm saying? It's like a thorn in your side. There's something really eating you about this. Am I right? Like gnawing at you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, big time.
Yeah. Okay. You're going to be able to do all that you can do, and then you're going to have to let go. And what I mean by that is that doesn't mean you stop becoming an advocate, because I'm an advocate as well. I mean, what's happening with fentanyl in this world is just beyond. But there's a role for you to play, but not at the expense of yourself. Do not take less care of yourself, but you are that spokesperson. You're the one that's going to stand up for something here. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I've been taking a back seat. I let the media roll with this, and I have not been as vocal about this whole election.
That's what I'm saying. That's it right there.
Yeah.
Now, you know why I'm not telling you to do it. I'm not telling you to do it, but you know why you're not doing it. And what did your son just say? What did he say? He just told her to get out or something.
Well, he said full speed ahead.
Full speed ahead.
Yeah.
Yep. So you have to figure out what that means. But remember what I said to you. Don't sacrifice your health and well-being. And you don't have to.
Right.
Take care of yourself and stand tall and do whatever it is that you feel you need to do.
Yeah,
Okay.
Dr. Pat, if I may,
Yep.
my interpretation, reflecting on that is when your son said go full speed ahead, and
Yep.
when your fiance's mom said stop the self-doubt, they're talking about the fentanyl awareness. They're not
Yeah.
talking about trying to destroy this person's political career.
They're not.
Okay. Yeah. So this is what you're doing with the fentanyl awareness, because politicians can stand up there, and say, let's stop fentanyl, but nothing is more effective than a mother.
Right. So you know what you need to do, and you don't look, you can become
Yeah.
a spokesperson, you can become an advocate, and all you need to do is present the facts. The facts take their own path. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep, that's
Yep.
it.
That's what I've
Thank
been
you.
doing.
You're
So,
doing it. Yeah.
okay.
And look, remember to
All
fill
right.
up your tank, though. You got to fill your tank up. You have to fill
Yeah,
your
it's
tank
been
up.
pretty crazy.
That's
Mhm.
get some ice cream. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Oh.
I did that
Thank
yesterday,
you.
actually. So,
Okay, so yeah,
yeah.
there we go. What do you call that?
all
A
right. Thank
verifiable
you so
something?
much.
Verifiable
Thank you.
fact volume message.
That's it right there. Thank you so much. We're
Thank
going to take
you.
a short break, and then we're going to
Okay.
come back and go right to the
Thank
phones.
you.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Welcome back. You're listening to Psychic and the Doc. I want to take a minute. Mark, would you let folks know, first of all, how they can find out more about you, and also some of the things you're up to?
Well, I've been honored with 2 nominations in the OMI Awards, for Best Medium and for Best Metaphysical Book, for 2022, which is my book, The Afterlife Frequency. And the OMIs are sponsored by Om Times and iSpirit Medias. And if you visit my website, which is afterlifefrequency.com, just like my book, Afterlife Frequency, in the calendar of events, you'll see where to vote for me. So I'm respectfully requesting the honor of all of your votes, and I invite you to sign up for my newsletter as well. You can find out about private readings, but you'll also see in the calendar of events that on February 17th, I've got an online light circle event where it's limited to 6 people, and that way everybody gets a reading. And so you can find out about all of those things at my website, afterlifefrequency.com. And thank you, Dr. Pat. Dr. Pat, rumor has it, The Psychic and the Doc is being nominated for Best Paranormal and Spiritual Podcast.
Yeah.
I understand that's the Parapod Awards,
Yeah.
which are going to be in Hollywood. So I'm hoping we get to go and do the whole
Yeah,
red
let's go
carpet
do
thing.
it. I would love
Thing.
to do that. Oh my God, so much fun. Look, today's theme, we're going to go right to the phones, talk to Lynn, but I just want to get back to today's theme. It is unconditional love. I want to be very clear from where I sit with what it means. It's very simple. Unconditional love really is, simply put, it is love without strings attached. It's love you offer freely. And we get very confused with this because we like to use the word codependent. And I want to be very clear with everybody. Here's the thing. When you offer something without a string attached, even if the outside world calls it codependent, it is not. You can offer money, you can offer help, you can offer jobs, you can offer everything to another person that may seem very odd to the public, but your heart is doing it with nothing but pure desire to do it. Not, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, I'll die and I'll go somewhere if I don't. But we're going to go to the phones right now because Lynn is back in the house. Hi, Lynn.
Lynn from Atlanta.
Lynn from Atlanta. Hello, Lynn.
Hi, Mark.
Hey.
I'm doing
Hi,
well,
Lynn.
thank you.
Cool.
Hello. I
Hey, Lynn.
really wasn't sure why I was drawn to call today, but it's interesting, the topic of unconditional love. So as I've been listening, there's the unconditional love. I actually was in Thailand during the tsunami of 2004. So when you talked about
Whoa.
the earthquake,
Yeah.
definitely woke something up. But then also there's something around my ex-husband. So as I've been sitting here for 30 minutes or so, I am absolutely vibrating and just really nauseous. So I'm not sure what, I don't even have a question.
That's okay. Let's stay with that energy if you don't mind, because you're going to hear
Okay.
Mark talk about this a little bit, but I'm just going to say this real quick. The other night, I have a situation right now at work, and I have a situation, and it was quite disturbing for me. Something I was not used to, and I started to feel really nauseous. And then there was my mom and my stepmom talking to me. Now, they're not here on this planet anymore. And I want to tell you, I don't know if it was I got dizzy or like that's my logical. Mark is going to tell me something else. But just hold on to that energy for a minute. Let me give you over to Mark and see what comes through, okay?
All right.
Okay.
Lynn, let me see. All right, you got a male energy coming through. And what I'm getting with him, he feels like could be on the father level, but he could be a grandfather because he's got this grandfather. But the thing is, many fathers are all right, all grandfathers are fathers, many fathers are grandfathers. But what I'm getting with him is he was elderly when he passed. And let me see if I can define elderly. I'm seeing like a lot of lines in his face, a lot of lines, a lot of living with this guy. And I'm also getting pains in my side, and particularly my right side, right kidney, right hip, because the kidneys sit right above the hip. So he may have been having problems with kidneys and or hip. Definitely a lot of low back pain, difficulty with mobility prior to passing. This gentleman could easily have been well into his 80s when he passed. And I'm also getting grip strength issues. So this could be neurological, but this could be a rheumatoid type arthritis. Poor guy. He was having some issues with his urinary tract as well. But the thing that I get about him, Lynn, is he was still mentally with it. He was sharp as a tack right up to the very end. And my throat hurts. And I get this dry burning sensation in my throat. And I'm also getting the sense that at least back in the day, he was a pretty heavy smoker because I'm smelling a lot of tobacco. Does any of this make sense to you, Lynn?
No, the only two names that come to me would be my former father-in-law that I had never met. His name is Paul, or my father that I had never met. His name is Jimmy.
Okay. That's interesting. Now let's see if we can get the spirit to identify himself. August. What's up with you in the month of August? Are there any significant births, deaths, anniversaries, or events connected to you or someone close to you within the month of August?
Yeah, my divorce was final August 18th.
That'll work. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
And let's see what he wants you to know. Interesting, Lynn. He said, fearless. He calls you fearless. Now, everybody's, has fear. Everybody's scared of something, but he said, you're fearless. He said, you are not afraid to put yourself out there. You're not afraid to tackle a difficult situation. He said, you're fearless. And he said, and it took you to be fearless to get through that divorce. Did the divorce take a long time to get for you to get to it? He said that one feels like that was a real drag and drain on you. Does that make any sense?
Oh my God. Yes, it was about a 4-year journey, and it was quite the journey through hell. Let's just put it that way. It was not a pleasant
But he
situation.
said you're fearless. Would you describe yourself as fearless? And I want you to hold that thought because this is a job for the one and only Dr. Pat, fearless Dr. Pat. This is that. I mean, I see it written out.
Yeah. Tumultuous. What was the turmoil? What's the turmoil bit? that you went through? Turmoil. That's the word.
So, yeah. So, a couple things. One
you don't
is
have
that
to
we
share
couldn't
personal
come to.
stuff. You don't have to share a lot of personal
That's
stuff
okay.
on the air if you don't want.
Yeah, that's okay. So it basically was around the divorce settlement.
Right.
And I had some health issues, and so I was working, he was not, and had not been, and so I said, I can't do this anymore.
Right.
And there was a pattern of overgiving, and so at that point I said, I'm not doing this anymore, and so it really upset him, and so it literally took 4 years to get that divorce done, and it was very tumultuous.
That's right. And so how are you feeling today about it? Have you cleared the energy around that now?
You know, I thought I had, but clearly there's something. I mean, I love this person deeply.
Yep, I know. Yep, I get that. I get it.
And so I don't know. I'm actually going back to that area where I lived with him. So I don't know if that's maybe triggering something.
There
around
you
this.
go. Bingo. Bingo. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, let me tell you how triggers work. I was doing a show yesterday with Rose, and she is about family trauma. And Rose, I'm doing this fabulous show with her, and she brings something up just very calmly. And all of a sudden I start stuttering on air. Hello, right? Now I used to stutter as a kid for people would tell you a lot of good reasons. But all she had to do is bring something up that I didn't know. And I'm telling you, I couldn't get the word out. So you're going back to this area because you are going to do what? What are you doing back there?
I'm going for a dental appointment. And I'm just connecting with some friends. They're my friends.
Okay. Yeah.
That I've had for probably 20 years or so.
Okay.
Right. But so
yeah,
I can't
this
imagine
show
that
is for you.
I have not seen or talked to him in years.
You don't need to. This isn't about him. This isn't about him. I'm going to tell you, this show is unconditional love, but the message I want to give you is for you. The hardest thing about unconditional love, and Mark said it, you have to be fearless with unconditional love. And what I mean by that is you cannot allow any guilt or shame or ... come in. And so you don't know what you're going to see when you meet these people, right? You just need to step into this arena as pure love. Do you understand what I'm saying? Not, wish I could have, should have. It would just, I'm going back in the hood. That's all. That's all you need to do is just make sure you clear that. You see what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay. Don't bring the guilt and shame with you back to the hood.
Yeah, it's interesting because the people that I've basically selected to see are people that were very supportive through that journey. And basically, I would say in that group, the only people that are left out of a lot of acquaintances and people, right? So
it's not about them. No, it's not them. You know, you just got a little residual.
No, I know.
All right. Okay. She's like, stop talking to me. She's like, stop talking to me, Dr. Pat.
I got
all right, look, I'm gonna let you go. Please.
All right, thank you.
Self-praise, self-prayers. You're whole, perfect, and complete. Got it?
Got it.
Okay, thank you. Wow, that's the hardest thing to do. Thank you very much.
Dr. Pat, one of the things I got from what you were just telling the caller, it resonated with me about unconditional love, that we have to remember to have unconditional love for ourselves.
There's no question.
No question. And you know, people say, oh, you love yourself. Well, there's a big difference between loving yourself and narcissism. There's a lot of people that go around like me, and it's like, and they're insufferable to be around, and sometimes they run for office. But the thing is, what did Jesus say? You must love others as you love yourself, because you can't really love somebody else unless you love yourself. And if you have that unconditional love and you accept yourself, and sometimes, how many times, Dr. Pat, do you think people look back and say, I was so stupid when I was 27 for getting involved with that person, or I was so thoughtless when I said this or did that, and you look at things in the past. And I think we need to have unconditional love for ourselves and forgive ourselves for not being the person then that we are today.
Yeah. Yeah. The hardest part about this is, and we're going to get signs. We're going to go to the phones. I think we have time for another caller. But when I say we're going to get signs, this is what I mean, Mark. There are things that are going to show up in our lives. Let me give you one example. It shows up a lot in life for especially some of the ladies I work with. It is that thing that you allow somebody else to do to you. Yes, I did say that. You can email me. I'm not one of these folks that believes, oh, you do it to yourself. No. When you're in front of a bully, they're doing something at you. Okay.
Yeah.
And everybody feel me on that. But it's how you take it. Is if you let that beat you down, you see, these are little signs of whether or not you unconditionally love yourself. Because if you unconditionally love yourself, one or two things would happen. It would roll off you, right? It would be like a hot knife in butter is what that'd be like. Or you would stand up for yourself in a way that would put an end to it. Or you would do both. But if you take that in and you absorb that and you make their anger, bullying, ridiculousness become part of your energetic psyche, you are, you know what. Let's go to the phones there, Colton.
All right, we got
I didn't say
Lacey.
it. I did not say
You
it.
did not say
I
it.
did not say that word.
We got Lacey coming in from West Virginia. How you doing, Lacey?
Hi, Lacey, West Virginia.
Hello.
Hey, welcome to the
Hi.
show. What can we do for you?
Hi, Lacey.
Yes,
What can we do
I
for you?
lost my sister in December of 2021, and I'm just wondering if she has any messages for me.
All right, let's see if we can get her to step forward. I'm getting a female energy coming through. And Lacey, first off, please accept my condolences on the passing of
Very
your
sorry.
sister.
Yep.
Also, a lot of times when I give evidence, it sounds very clinical, and I don't mean it in an unsympathetic manner. And the reason I'm saying that is the female energy who's coming through, I am tasting a lot of blood. Now, that doesn't always mean a bleed out. That could be some type of internal hemorrhage, but I'm getting a lot of issues with blood, circulation, blood flow, a lot of pains in her lower abdominal region. Feels very, very painful in the area of the cervix. I'm also getting all this lymph gland involvement and pains running down my whole spinal column. So this woman had a lot of physical issues going on, a lot of physical pain, but it does feel like her lymphatic system and her circulatory system were impacted, meaning her blood and lymph glands. Does anything there make sense?
As far as, well, she was murdered, and we're not 100% sure how he did it, because her autopsy report came back undetermined, but we do know that she went without oxygen and she was brain dead. She was actually kept on life support to be an organ donor. So, and I do think, though, that she did have some type of maybe like a kidney infection or something, that the hospital, whenever they ran test results and or ran labs and stuff, she had a mild kidney or bladder infection or something. But other than the back column and stuff, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I could go through all those sensations, and I don't want to do that because that would be very, very painful for you. But I'm pretty sure that we have her here, and she is, and I'm not being flippant when I say this, but she keeps showing me a little white rabbit, a little white bunny. Now, this could be a picture. Maybe you guys had a bunny. But usually when I get images of rabbits, that's the Aries time frame, because it's related to Easter. So there could be a significant birth, death, anniversary, or event which may be connected to you, your sister, or someone close to either of you between March 20th and April 20th.
Does that make
My
sense to
mom's
you?
birthday's March 20th.
There you go. Okay. All right. Is mom here on planet Earth?
Yes.
Okay. So that would be, yeah, that's a verifiable fact. Let's see what her message is for you. If they haven't caught this guy, they're pretty close, is what I'm getting. They said on the trail, on the trail, on the trail. She said they're putting 2 and 2 together, and she said 2 and 2 makes 5 in this case. And I'm not sure what that means right away, but there's some factors in, hold on, there's some factors in the evidence gathering that it looks like what it appears to be. There's more than meets the eye. Now you can respond. Go right ahead.
Yeah. We have about 2
I was
minutes
going to
left.
say, he actually, he's being investigated for 2 murders, my sister and another lady. And as far as the evidence, that, I mean, we're worried that, I mean, they brought him in for questioning and for fingerprints and stuff, but we're worried that there's not going to be enough evidence to, you know, prosecute or anything.
Yet. There's not enough evidence yet.
Yet.
Yet. Say the word yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I know we got to run out of time here. I have a question for you though. Your sister, did she like the Matrix movies? Matrix, you know, the Matrix? Do you know the movies, the Matrix?
Not that I'm not. Yeah, I'm not. I don't think so. I mean,
what kind of music?
Aware of.
What kind of music did she like?
She loved like Queen and Bob Marley and Sublime. I mean, and she's a country girl. She liked Hank Williams Jr. She liked a little bit of everything. Sorry, I got a 2-year-old in the background.
That's all right. So listen, here's what I want to say to you, and then I'm going to let you go. We're going to let you go off air, and we're going to still talk to you so you can hear us. Thank you for calling in. Here's what I want to say. It's a yet. It's a yet. Right, Mark? Do you know what I'm saying? Yet.
I know exactly what you're saying. Yes.
They don't have enough evidence yet. Okay. Do you know that show, Cold Justice? You know the woman that does the Cold Justice show on cold cases? They need somebody like that, but don't give up yet. It's the word yet. Got it?
Okay.
It may not be tomorrow. It may not be next year. But don't give up,
he's the type of person that give him enough rope and he's going to hang himself. He can't keep his mouth shut. So.
Let me tell you something. He doesn't even see the rope. He doesn't see the rope. All right. Thank you for calling in. Mark, what a great show. Thank you so much for today.
Yes.
You bet. Thank you.
All right. And we're going to be back next week for another call-in show. This is the Psychic and the Doc. And for everyone, this is the spirit of unconditional love. Valentine's Day is coming, and that's the time to celebrate our loved ones in this world and the other side. I'd like to invite everyone to go to my website and please sign up for bestholisticlife.com, Best Holistic Life magazine. My February article is entitled Death Can't Destroy Love.
That's right. Well, thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. I'm Dr. Pat, and thank you to the best audience on the planet. We'll see you all next time.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into The Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on The Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. That's TransformationTalkRadio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.